giving a voice to the voiceless. We share the stories behind our freedoms and the ultimate sacrifice of those who protect us all. This is Patriots Inside the Wire.
Patriot is someone who was willing to give his life for his country and served honorably in Iraq.
Signed our names with no regrets. Only wanted to be the best that we could be. And we wanted this and nothing more than to be true down to the core. We thought we'd live forever, but when the full moon is bright and the wind blows just right, I can hear your voice on the wind.
Sure was that I came back on a perfect day, but you know what? It's really more good all these words I hear.
21 guns into the night till we meet again on the other side. 21 guns, this is goodbye till we meet again on the other side. Yeah, 21 guns.
Beautiful thing to see the family and friends come together and honor his life and his service to our country.
It's great to see you guys out here. This is awesome, really.
Welcome to the Patriots Inside the Wire broadcast, hosted by Gold Star mom, Tracy Two-Step.
Hey, how are we doing out there? Welcome to Patriots Inside the Wire. Tonight on Patriots Inside the Wire, we have our lovely co-host, Mr. John Swat over there. You're with Tracy. My son is Sergeant Two-Step, and we're bringing tonight a show that is going to be about our service members. We have Memorial Day coming, and we also have someone here with us that will be sharing information too. So we are doing great. We hope all of you out there are doing great. I do know, to my Gold Star families, what you're feeling. I keep messaging, whatever you need to do. Call me, text. I understand that it is hard. We just had Mother's Day. Follow that by Memorial Day, and I can tell you that my heart feels like yours does. So moving on from there, I want you to know you're very important to us, every one of you. SWAT here is a veteran, and yeah, and that's what I love to see. What I'd like to do is I'm going to go ahead and bring up our guests. So grab your friends, grab your friends, grab your friends, grab your family for this wholesome little show. And here she is. It is Ms. Stephanie Phillips.
Hey, guys.
For Senate. Yeah.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
We are so great to see you. I mean, you're just such a breath of fresh air. So
Thank
I've
you.
enjoyed it. I have.
Thank
And how is it going there? How's it going?
Oh,
The
gosh.
race.
It is so busy. Early voting starts Saturday, and our primary is June 11th. So I have just been running all over the state, just running ragged and getting out to meet as many people as possible. And we're going full throttle till June 11th. So need to get people out to vote.
We sure do. And as she's talking, I'll let you know right here. She is in Nevada. She is running for Senate. So, and obviously Stephanie can tell you herself, but I wanted you to know Phillips for the number
Nevada.
4,
Yeah,
Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And we've got that here. So we'll make sure on the show. But as we're going in, we're already getting comments here. We want to say thank you to the families out there. We want to say thank you to those that do serve, signing your name, taking that oath, foreign and domestic. We're all very familiar with that. So again, if you are in need, you'd like to try to talk to someone, please reach out to either 988. It may not be something that we can help you with, but they would be able to help you with. But if there's a resource or something you're looking for, then I can. I do see your message there. Thank you for that. What we're going to do is Brent. So I'll say hi to Brent. Brent, thank you so much.
Hey, Brent.
You are always welcome, and we appreciate you very much. So stay strong, my friend. Stay strong. All right. I think SWAT, with this being, we're leading to Memorial Day. The upper right-hand corner by SWAT, that is a Woody Williams Gold Star family monument, is what that is. And I don't know if you've ever seen one out there. I can guarantee that Gold Star families have seen at least one, if not many. I have seen many. And in SWAT, if I'm not mistaken, there is one right there in the Houston area where we were. Yes, I thought so. Because Houston's pretty big, y'all. Um, that's the truth. I say with Memorial Day, and I say we just go with the anthem. And while we're doing that and honoring that, then we'll get into talking to our guests. You got it?
Sounds good. Well, I guess I'll go ahead and I'd like to dedicate this to all the service members out there. Thank you for everything you do, and God bless America. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Great job,
That was
SWAT.
awesome. Thank you for that.
That was
Thank you all.
beautiful, SWAT. Thank you.
Sorry, I went out of the frame. I had to stand up because my flag is right here.
I totally understand.
That and it kind of gets you in the heart and we love it, but we also know that it can be emotional for some of us. One of those is me. I don't hold anything back. So for tonight's show, we definitely are watching the clock. So SWAT, you see that clock hit, you let me know. I have been against glasses, and I'm just gonna have to do it. But it's great to see you, Stephanie. I got to talk to you a little bit recently. We also got you endorsed. You are endorsed now by the commissioner, Sid Miller, out here in Texas.
Thank
Thank goodness for that. And if I'm not mistaken, then after that followed, do we have Ted Nugent?
We did. Yep.
Yeah. On a
Also
roll.
an honor to have them both. And the commissioner is very well loved up here. We have a lot of ranchers and people that know who he is and love him and all the work that he does. So that was great. I was so honored to receive that. Thank you.
Oh, don't thank me. I just feel like sometimes you need another person to be in there to kind of explain that for you. So from that, did Paxton also endorse you?
Not yet, but I hear a lot of talks about that, so we'll see how that comes out.
Well, you know how I am. I do a lot less talking and a whole lot of action. So if we're looking at an endorsement, we're still waiting. You don't have much time. So this is a
Right.
shout out right now. Paxton in Tennessee. I almost said Tennessee. My God, y'all. I am from Tennessee. I'm not talking to you, Lee. I'm talking to Paxton here in Texas. We are looking for you for Miss Stephanie Phillips. I am saying this. She is not. And that trio, to me, you've got the commissioner, you've got Nugent, and then you throw Paxton with you. I firmly believe that they will believe in everything that you stand for, literally.
Right.
And so in a minute, I'm going to be quiet, but I wanted our listeners to know that although Stephanie Phillips right now, and we'll get into her website, Stephanie is a military mother. So as a military mom, she has experienced what happens when your child leaves and is going to go off and join I don't want to say organization. They're going to join the military, no matter which branch. And you can't really it's like, okay, but wait, I gave birth, but wait, nope, nope, nope. They are in the military now, and it's an adjustment. So that's why tonight it was like, we need to have our active duty represented Gold Star families. My heart is yours. That's the lane I'm in, but I'm also in a lane where I support our veterans, our patriots, our first responders, if I'm leaving anyone out, I mean, I just all across the board there. What I mean is those that have served or are serving. But again, the last part to this is that it's Memorial Day approaching. And on Memorial Day, I do know that a lot of people do have no clue what a Gold Star family is or what it means. And that means that active duty, they did not come home, whether it can be a multitude of different things. We're not going there. But I'm just letting you know that they didn't choose to take off that uniform. And so when Memorial Day is here, Memorial Day, I'll say it again, Memorial, less country. Memorial Day is approaching. And Memorial Day is for those like my son back here, serving active duty that won't ever walk in my home again. I look up there, everybody has their ways of dealing with things. But Memorial Day, that is what it's about. It is about those that have served, they're not coming home. We have families that are actually upset right now because they cannot find an actual memorial to go to except for a couple of really big barbecues. So I just want to let you know that I remember that feeling, and I remember feeling lost, and I still do sometimes. But if you look, I guarantee, even if it's 40 minutes away or whatever the time may be, or you can get a hold of me, I am going to get a hold of Fort Hood. Yes, I still call it Fort Hood. I will get a hold of them, and we do have June 12th. So June 12th, we will be there at Fort Hood. Multiple families, you are welcome. Send us a message through our website, patriotsinsidethewire.com, and we will be doing something there at the base. And that's June 12th. So Memorial Day is where I wanted to speak a little with Stephanie and what she's doing, and SWAT, actually. SWAT, the confusion is that I'm not confused at all, actually. Veterans Day is every day. Like, I appreciate, I'm grateful for every veteran that is serving or has served. I'm also, my heart goes out to, and I am that mom too, who's my heartstrings. Like, that's a song I'm writing, Heartstrings. There is a such thing as broken heart syndrome. And the one thing that will do that is I now have had 2 new moms recently that I won't mention their names. It happened to me. cardiologist could not figure out what was going on, and it was scary and it was bad. And they thought immediately, you got to open up, heart attack, heart attack. No, it's called broken heart syndrome, and it is true. And there are strings that are attached to the heart. So the song will be Heartstrings. We'll get into that later. But I wanted SWAT to know because he's our master writer, musician, and veteran. And I cannot finish that song, so I got to get with SWAT. But SWAT, for you, what would you like to say to everyone out there? I did this on purpose because of multiple requests of Tracy. Where are we going to go? Because everybody's throwing barbecues all weekend and there's not a service. So where do we go and what do we do? And how do we educate people by being nice and say, one of my biggest things that I just received was what you never do is think of veteran on Memorial Day. There's a whole quote that I have, but I think that I'll turn it over from here. I know the feeling, I know what it's like, but I'd love to hear from you as a veteran. And then I'd love to hear from Stephanie as an active duty military mother who is running for Senate. And she does need your help out there. Everybody listening, pass it on. Stephanie Phillips, United States Senate candidate in Nevada. Let's make sure we get out there and get those votes in. It's coming up, and she is definitely going to let you know. This is a part where I stay quiet, and SWAT will let you know more about his viewpoints. Maybe, I don't know the correct word, on Memorial Day. And if you've ever had that happen and how you feel, and I know everybody's different, but I'm just curious.
Well, and Stephanie, I'm sure you and Tracy both can relate. For me, Memorial Day is not just remembering, those who have served or are serving, those who have passed on, but it's also remembering the families. Every time I see a service member, no matter what kind of uniform they're wearing, I automatically walk up and tell them thank you. Because I don't just remember them on one day. I like to remember them every chance I get. But this is a day, I think, especially as a country, we get to kind of, like you said, look back, whether it's, a friend or a brother or, a son or father or a mother or whoever out there that has served or we may have lost, to not just remember, you know, the life that they lived, but also to remember that their service and what they gave up for this country. That's what it means to me. It's not, don't get me wrong, I love good barbecue. And, having a few cold ones every now and then is good, but it's really to kind of look back and kind of remember what it's all about. And it wasn't for those people who put their lives on the line every day. We wouldn't be able to celebrate and go out and, hang out with our family and friends. And, I just want to say, even though I'm a veteran, I just want to say thank you to, you, Tracy, and you, Stephanie, of course. I mean, y'all are putting just as much on the line as Tracy. I've said this before, but it's not just the service member that serves; it's the family that serves alongside with them. And
It's
Stephanie,
true.
I think you could probably relate to it. I think that's what's so important about you running for Senate is that you have a different perspective, and you can connect with people in that, way and, relate to them better, I think, than not that other people can't relate, but you understand what I'm saying. You have a deeper connection, especially with our armed forces and, first responders, police officers, everybody who puts their lives on the line for this country every day. And so I just want to say thank you to both of you for everything you're doing. And Stephanie, you're taking it to the next level. That's awesome. So you've got my
Right?
support all the way.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much.
Yes.
And thank you for your service for both of you and to all of our veterans out there that are listening and their families. And veterans are at the top of my platform alongside children. And it's really important that we treat our veterans well. And the things that I see happening, and I get called all the time by veterans, and they tell me issues that they're having, and there's a lot of work to be done. But for Memorial Day, I'll get back to the politics, but I first wanted to talk about Memorial Day, and I'll be going out to Boulder City. We have a veteran cemetery out there, and where we honor those, and where I can pause the campaign and just remember what they all did for this country. And they gave the ultimate sacrifice. And sometimes people forget, we take for granted our liberties and our freedoms and the things that our flag here stands for. And when I see people destroying our flag, it bothers me, and it just makes me so mad, because things are taken for granted and they shouldn't be. I grew up in a time where we said the Pledge of Allegiance every day before school. We said prayer, and we honored our flag and our country and our military. And that's so important. And my son, where he's at in his journey, he just graduated from college, and he was a part of the Utah Guard and the ROTC program. So he is now commissioned, and he's an officer and a second lieutenant, and he's leaving June 1st. So those feelings of him leaving, that's at the forefront of my mind. And all the things that he's going to be involved in, and going through, and the training and all of these things. And then he is going off to Fort Bragg after that. And it's, and I don't know where he's going to be sent. I don't know, where he's going to be after that. And I understand that feeling. And you're right, Swat, when you said or Tracy, one of you said that, when you send them off and they're grown now and it's time to go, I think about that a lot. But getting back to the politics with veterans, they're serving illegals at our VA before our veterans, which should never, ever happen. We have veterans sleeping on the streets, and here we are sending billions of dollars out of our country before we are serving our veterans, before we are securing our country. And there's so many things. There's a laundry list of things. And I hear from veterans all the time, and that has to be a priority. And I think that sometimes we forget that priority. And that's going to be something that I will do, is have that come first, and have our veterans first, and hear them, and actually do something, to improve these services and to honor them.
That was beautiful, and I fully agree with everything that you just said. It was very well put. You can call me too, Stephanie, when he's officially gone. I know the whole process, so but no worries there. I'm telling you, he's going to be fine. He's already up there in his rank. I know that he's going to be just fine. So, but we are so grateful to have you. As we were speaking earlier, we are looking for others to pay attention to Nevada. And that happened because I actually went to school in Hawthorne, Nevada, like in my elementary years for a little while. Everybody's gonna be like, man, she lived everywhere. Yeah, I kind of did actually. And so it's some of my best memories are when I was there. So we have mutual friends. Stephanie and I met through mutual friends, and me working on campaigns, just because I want our country back to the kindness, back to what I call real people, back to don't be so PC and let's just be real. And my big thing is do no harm. I mean, honestly, we don't know what's happening behind closed doors with anyone. So it's really, really tough for me when I get a call, or even it's happening to me. I won't say yes or no that it is. I'm just saying that, yes, it has happened to me before. And boy, it's tough. If it were not for veterans, Stephanie, so now your son is in, but it's been the veterans that whole program, SWAT has heard this a million times. It's like connect a veteran to that family, and like a light bulb, what this family just lights up. It's like you have to see this and go, oh my goodness, it's helping both sides. So as I just returned from Tennessee, I did get to meet, so we have to do the shout out too. I'm going to say Doc, Chris Turner, thank you so much. And if I'm leaving you out, I hope that I'm not. But Mr. Adam Bird, and there are a couple of other people that have been great as far as mentorship and giving us advice as we go on our journey. So thank you to all of those in Nashville as well. Memories of Honor had a beautiful, beautiful event. And so I am back now. It's like you're on that campaign trail, Stephanie. I'm like, I wonder if this feels like a third of that, but probably not. So I want to say thank you again for your son that has signed up and he is serving. If he is not your only child, right?
No, I have a 19-year-old daughter as well.
Yeah, yeah. I thought so. Yeah, we have a lot in common. So that's been great. And as far as your campaign, Stephanie, I have here scrolling Phillips, the number 4 for anyone that's going to be listening audio later. Phillips, the number 4, Nevada.com. Phillips4Nevada.com. There you go. And you
And
can
I have
find
to
out
mention real quick that when you said Hawthorne, I was in Hawthorne twice last week. I was up
No
there
way.
last Tuesday. They had a candidate night, so I got to speak to a lot of people up there. And then I went back Saturday, and I was in their Armed Forces Parade. And that is
Wow.
a huge annual event. There were thousands of people. And I met a lot of people from out of state, out of town. People traveled to come to that, and it's a really big deal. And it was awesome. It was so great. So many Patriots,
Wow.
veterans. I met a ton of people, and I loved it.
Well, I will go next year. You'll have to remind me about that. That sounds amazing. I just know that I was in elementary school, and back then, things were. It's not like I'm 80, y'all. I'm not that old, but I think older. I remember they brought like a circus. Literally, I'm not kidding, to the elementary school, and like big elephants, tigers, all of that. And I'm thinking, what are they doing? Like, I was always that curious person. And so, like, oh, you want to get up on the elephant? And of course, I said yes. And I just remember getting up there, and like someone else used to put ribbons like through my braid or feathers or whatever. And I remember them pulling it. So I like went to the side, I lost my shoe, and I was just like, that's like as a kid, like one of those things that's just ingrained in you forever. That there's an elephant in Hawthorne, Nevada that I decided I would be the kid that's like, sure, I'll get on it.
So I have a question for you, Stephanie, if I may. Did your son's enlistment have any type of effect on you actually running for Senate in Nevada? Was that maybe one of the contributing factors? And how did you kind of get, in your mind and inspired to kind of decide to run?
Well, I got into politics. That wasn't one of those factors. I got into politics back during COVID, and I couldn't stand what they were doing to us. Everything was un-American, unconstitutional. All these mandates, closing our businesses and telling us we're non-essential, and then what they did to our military, jabbing them with this experimental drug. I call it. They want to call it a vaccine, but it was really an experimental drug. And then the ones that they wouldn't accept their religious exemptions and just all of these things. And then these people separating from the military and then coming back later saying, oh, we're not going to mandate it anymore. You guys can come back. But what about their retroactive pay, benefits, all of these things? If you're going to have them back, then pay them what they're due. And they never should have had to be put through that to begin with. Nobody should have. And they didn't have that right to do that to the American people. So that lit a fire inside me, and I jumped into politics. And this was 2020. And I was preparing for this run ever since. And I knew, my daughter was still in high school, and I knew that this campaign would take everything, every ounce of my attention and energy. And I wanted her to be graduated. And when I filed, she was still in high school. I've been on the campaign trail over a year, but she graduated last year. And so I've just been out there running. But, my brother-in-law is a retired Green Beret. My children's father served 25 years in the Air Force as a retired lieutenant colonel. My stepfather served in the Navy. And so those things, and plus hearing from veterans all the time, that is just near and dear to my heart, and they deserve our attention.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But that's what first got me really fired up and jumping into politics, was all of that COVID nonsense. And Biden said 2 years ago that another pandemic is coming. So how do they know that? How does he know that? These things that go on is just, it's terrible. I will never support mandates, lockdowns, no vax mandates. And the WHO, we see what they're doing and trying to take our sovereignty when it comes to pandemics and tell the world what to do, with these digital passports and vax mandates. I won't stand for any of that stuff.
I love it. I love everything that you're saying there. And, I think a lot of us, when that all happened, the thing that stands out the most, so I homeschooled a fifth grader, and felt like that show, like, are you smarter than a fifth grader? I'm not kidding. Like, plus he's already going to a school where it's like way up above normal level. And I was just like, oh my goodness. I could never be a teacher, y'all. I mean, shout out to all the teachers, because we did our best. He did excellent. But I've had a lot of horror stories about where kids did not do well during that. So, but that meant me in a room, like the teacher, literally, I was like, no, you're going to go into an office room and you're going to actually work. This is how this works. So yeah, I never want to do that again. I never, ever want to teach school again. So it
takes
hard.
a special kind of person,
doesn't it? I mean, I did learn a lot, though. I will tell you that. I was like, wow, what they're teaching nowadays is it's advanced. I mean, and he goes in the advanced classes, but just like you, Stephanie, with your kiddos, I mean, with the times that are different, the times that are changed, you mentioned being able to be in class, and, we got to do all of this. And, yes, I believe that it should be back in the schools. We really need to have the sense of patriotism. We need to have that sense of our faith, is what I'll say, because if you don't want to say, to me, it's God and Jesus, but whatever that is for you, I feel like, and we won't get off on a whole show on this, but I feel like, look, if you've got a couple of people okay, I respect your opinions. I respect that you feel this way, but I would say then step out of the classroom, and we're doing this. Like, there are ways to work together. So my whole thing is no, you need to put that back in the schools. The schools really should have the Pledge of Allegiance, and they should really be doing, as you spoke about, with God. I mean, without those two things, I don't know where I'd be. I can tell you that. And after losing my oldest son, who went by two-step, there was too much to do. So I found a Christian group, and it's been like, thank you, God, for that one. So, extremely intelligent. So I'm all covered there. But did you experience that, Stephanie, during the lockdowns and all of that? Was your daughter still, so she was in high school?
Mm-hmm. Well, so both of them were in high school. And in fact, we shut down right before my son graduated. He graduated in 2020 from high school. Yeah. So, they shut school down, and they didn't have their prom, and they weren't going to have a graduation. But what our school came up with was, we have a speedway out in the northeast part of town. And we all went out there, and everybody got to take a lap around the speedway. They had all the kids, standing at their vehicles outside, and they acknowledged them. And the kids thought it was cool, because who else is ever going to be able to say that that's how they spent their graduation. But they had everybody spaced out and they were doing the best they could with the situation, but they still got to have a graduation. But a lot of these kids, they canceled all of that and,
Yeah.
canceled their proms. And it was absolutely ridiculous how long the schools were closed. They closed the churches and those things. And a lot of these kids here, and my daughter, she was old enough, she was in high school, but she was old enough to be able to navigate the online, stuff that they had and all of that. So they did well. But some of these little kids that, had to, some of them didn't even have computers or iPads, and they missed a lot. And their parents, when people got to go back to work, but school was still closed, they had little kids, they had to watch their kids or get somebody in to watch them. It was, financially hurtful for a lot of people, obviously. And these poor kids got left behind. And I think it was handled wrong. And at the time, we had a Democrat for a governor who was following everything that Newsom did in California. And it was just, as soon as we saw what Newsom was doing, then our governor was right behind him. And and then we saw how Kristi Noem and Ron DeSantis handled their states. And they are much more successful than what the blue states did. And it really hurt our city.
I hear you there. You brought up a name a moment ago that it's ironic when you bring up something. I feel like we're connected somehow. I was just invited to something with Tulsi and this something with Kristi Noem. And I said to them, I said, look, I'm in Texas. I will be really honest with you. I don't go do my homework on another person until we get to that level where it's like, okay, this is what's being announced. This is what's happening. I pay attention to local. Everybody should, because it starts there. But you brought up Kristi Noem, and that was just recently brought up to me in a positive and negative way. So I was like, I think that I'm going to let a candidate who's running or somebody else, and I'll do my homework is what I'll do. I'll do my homework first. But the only reason that this all started was because when my son was killed in the way that he was killed should have never happened. And we have someone that was in office in our White House that took maybe 5 minutes to figure out what had happened and reached out immediately to a Gold Star mom. And it meant the world. So, and that person knew what was going on was going to become a major catastrophe, not just in one state, but multiple states. So, literally everything in transportation you can think of is null and void because this is missing. So, and that's Trump. So I know that we have a lot of people who are yes, no, whatever, but I have a personal experience with him. And then I have a personal experience that happened with DeSantis. I don't like to be negative, so I'm not going to go there about DeSantis, except to say I'm still waiting on that apology, sir, for mixing me up. But Stephanie, the borders are for one. I just talked to my lovely cousin, the mother of the border agent that was killed, which would be a part of me too. And their family is struggling because when this border agent, and I'm going to say his name, Javier Vega Jr., his father was there, his family was there. They came up, they wanted to visit him. And unfortunately, the multiple illegal individuals that got out shot. And so Javier did not make it, but they did get his father. And so there were little kids there too. So here's the wife, the family coming up to work to say hi to dad. I just talked to her earlier because, he was wounded, and that is the dad, Javier Sr. And she just explained to me that, due to the injuries, he had been doing well for a while now, and he is not any longer doing well. So he's still with us. We still need prayers for him. But to receive that call, I was like, you got to be kidding me. Plus, our judicial system, um, that one of the individuals is already getting out. So um, it just makes me be that way. So why am I endorsing? Why am I involved? I don't get paid. I have no I do have favorites. I can't lie there. I don't lie. It's like karma. You get that movie. I'm sorry. I just feel like something's going to happen to me. If I've been like that since a kid. Um, but I know, listen, gut instincts, common sense, book sense, whatever you want to call it. I know what's happening out there. I had to pay attention because of what happened to my son. I know about the border. I know that this is an unbelievable situation that, to be really honest with you, scares me. When I think about who's now across our border, there is no way that we know who's across that border and what's happening. So that actually scares me. I'm like, this went from a level right here that I was talking about, and this just went, it's a tidal wave now. So it's like, got to be kidding me. So, unbelievable, Stephanie.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I understand. I went to the border in
Yeah.
March, and I'm one of only two, I believe, in my race that have actually gone down to see what is happening. And we've got some that went 5 years, 10 years ago, but what we have been seeing the last 3.5 years is an absolute, a loud invasion of our country by our own government, and we are funding it through our tax dollars. And it is absolutely astonishing. I went down to the Arizona Mexico border and I interviewed dozens of illegals, and all of that is on my social media, and you can see. And it's just like a bunch of these others that you see. All of these people, they're from all kinds of countries, none from Mexico that I saw, all men, young men. There was actually one woman there with her husband from Africa, but all men. And these, we've had tens of thousands of Chinese nationals come in, and we know China is our adversary, and they have built what could be a small army in our country, and they have come through the southern border. Look at how many people have been killed by fentanyl, and not to mention the children that have been trafficked. And that is something I talk about a lot because I've been involved in children's charities for 30 years. And that's what motivated me to start my own nonprofit here to help hungry and trafficked children. There is not enough funding to end this. The penalties are not stiff enough for these people. And what they do to these little kids, put them in cages and use them daily. And there are millions of them around the world. And it is just so sickening to me. And I don't hear enough elected officials talking about it. Again, we were talking about priorities. It's not made a priority, and it needs to be. And that is going to be one of my priorities. And we need a lot more resources and funding to fight that in that. And we've got to get our border secure and our nation secure, because we have no idea how many terrorists they have let in and have come over. They can attack us in our neighborhoods and our homes. And, we just kind of take for granted that we're safe here in America, but we are no longer. And people need to be aware of that. And that is something that is at the top of the priority list. We need to secure that border, finish the wall. There were many places where it just ends down there. But what was encouraging was all the construction that I saw down there, and they are fixing it in parts. And there were a lot of trucks and a lot of things being done, but there's still so much work to be done.
And that's in Arizona, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
At the south, just
Yeah.
at Sassady, right
Yeah.
there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Texas, I'm very familiar with. Are you SWAT, or have you been to the border around?
A long time ago, not any time recently, but I do have friends down there close to the area, and it's and you kind of touched on it, Tracy, and I'm sure when you made your trip down there, you probably met a lot of the Border Patrol agents, and I'm sure you got feedback from them about the situation. I mean, what was their feedback on the Arizona side? I know here in Texas, they're not too happy with things, and they've had to kind of work overtime, and it's been, like you said, pretty trying and pretty scary. I'm sure the same way in Arizona.
Well, I can say in Arizona, when I went down there, that port there at Sassabee was closed. And so I went around to try and get on that road that goes along the wall there. And all of a sudden, here comes all these Border Patrol agents out of this building, and they said, "Where are you going?" And I said, "I want to go along the border." And he said, "Oh, you've got to go up and here and around and, this other way." And I said, "Well, I want to interview you." And he said, "Not on camera." So they don't want to talk on camera, but the cartels run the place down there. And they have to navigate that. And I just wonder, what really happens down there. And those people, they're armed. And, that's who we need to get out of our country, are these cartels. And we need to fight them. And we need to support our Border Patrol. And these people, there's been whistleblowers, they say what's happening and what's going on down there. It's an atrocity, and it's against America.
Absolutely.
It
Absolutely.
truly is. It truly is. You're getting messages there. So I see your messages, and I'll make sure that she gets that message.
Sorry, I didn't see that.
Oh, no. You wouldn't. This is something that's coming behind the scenes.
Okay.
So I'm letting you talk, and then as I see something, I let them know. He's working on something to do with the everything that we're talking about. So I know about it. Title 42 expired while I was in session in legislation for the Two-Step Act, which is something that Brent brought up earlier. He studies a lot about what's going on everywhere. So there is that website if you want to learn more about what I was already working on when I knew this would happen. And that will forever be there. That's my son, Sergeant Two-Step, is how we figured out there's a loophole we need to close also. And I will not. I'm a mom, right? And I'm a military mom. So it's like, don't make me use my military voice, number one. Number two, you better believe I won't quit. So that's what I am. When he took that oath and what happened to him, not this mom. I'm not going anywhere. And Stephanie, I can tell you, you are a grassroots. You are not afraid. You are on fire, and you are not going to let any of these things go past you. And I know that you had someone earlier asking you questions about beliefs and different things. You don't have to get into any of that unless you want to. This is your place that if you wanted to clear up anything or anything you'd like to say and add, feel free to do so. Welcome
Well,
here.
I talk about a lot vetting your candidates here. There are a dozen Republicans on the Republican ticket in my race. That's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot in this race. And we see all the time, some of the same candidates come through. We see carpetbaggers, we see opportunists trying to throw their money around and buy the seat. And you really have to narrow down where these people are from, why they're in this, how many times have they run, did they run in other states? And it's really important to research your candidates. And I have lived here longer than anybody in this race that I know of. I've been here for 31 years, and this is my home. So I'm going to protect my home, and I'm going to take care of my home, and I'm going to defend my home. And the people in this state deserve representation from someone who is transparent, who is trustworthy and honest. And in my business, I've been in the real estate business the whole time that I've lived here. And my clients will tell you they trust me implicitly. And that is so important. Every relationship is based on trust, no matter that relationship. And it also between a politician and their constituents. The constituents should be able to trust their politician, and nobody trusts their politician. And it's a shame. It shouldn't be that way. But so many times these career politicians go to Washington, they forget about us back here at home. And they serve themselves. They become multimillionaires. They are super wealthy. They get corrupted because they're in there for so long. That's why I support term limits. And we need new blood in Washington. We need to overhaul the system because we have way too many in there. And I'm talking both sides of the aisle. The Republicans, there are plenty of rhinos, and I do not mind saying it, and they sell us down the river. And so I am here standing up courageously, fearlessly, and running this campaign with not a whole lot of money. And it's a shame that politics is all about money. And I say it all the time, money does not make a candidate, nor does it qualify them. And I post out the other day, prioritize character over cash. Because, it's just really true that if we boil down to the motivations of people in this race, and you look at the money, and they call, the ones with money, the front runners, they are no more qualified to serve than a man in the moon. And I have an entire career of serving, representing, and negotiating for Nevadans, and no one else in this race can say the same. So my background has prepared me, and naturally, God gave me a servant's heart. And that's why I have served in so many charities and, done so much of that and started my own nonprofit. It comes naturally to me. I am built for this, and I am made for this, and I will do Nevada well, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, and I can back that up. So when I research someone, it is because I've been approached. And so before I go do anything about endorsing, and listen, remember, this all came, I'm not a politician. This just happened because of the way that my active duty soldier was killed. So that is how I ended up in this whole thing where I'm trying to create a new law, which is tough. But you know what? You figure it out as you go. But yes, you are correct. I am blown away by everything that I learn every day, right? We are all continuously learning. And, and I always put this out there. Look, if you can't agree, let's agree to disagree at least. And let's try and find some common good here where we understand that going forward, you think forward. If you don't think right now, just better start thinking forward. What's that picture going to look like if you do have those same individuals there? So I also believe in term limits. I definitely do. Meaning, for instance, even the governor that I have here, it doesn't matter how much I may or may not like. I'm not going to answer that one. I believe there should be term limits. And that is so, like what you mentioned, that is so someone else can get in there. And it's just new. It's like refreshing it over and over, and we're not swooned by one individual. So I've even joked, and this is a joke, but I've even joked and says, all right, fine. Put a Democrat, a Republican, and an independent all in office together. Like all three of them. Let them all just try to figure out like how we're going to make this work. If you all think we need to include everything all in one package, I don't know how you're going to do it because it's just not possible. What is possible is the character of the person and the people. So if you look at that, that's where you're correct. So I always say follow the money. Number one, follow the stories. There are a couple of stories. That's why I met Stephanie. They happened in Texas. And this is why Stephanie needs your vote in Nevada. Anyone and everyone, if you look this up, you're going to be like, oh my goodness, Tracy, there's a veteran. Yeah, there is, but that's why I'm saying if you do your homework, you're going to see some things and you're going to know real quick why Stephanie is the one that needs to be in that seat. So, and I'm not saying this about all of them. I'm just letting you know that from what I have worked on, that we definitely need Stephanie out there in Nevada. So, and then the rest of the states, I kind of closed my door on endorsing or anything, but I'm just grateful. I'm grateful to meet you. I am grateful for everything that you're doing. I am grateful for your honesty. And that goes a long way. So I just think if more people were that honest and just said, hey, this is what I feel, this is what I believe, and didn't try to tear each other down, but just try to, okay, you know what? I don't want to live in a world where we all are like a robot. Like, okay, you have to believe what I have to believe, and you have to do what I do. No, I don't. And you don't either. And that's what makes us America. So, and who we're supposed to be. So, those freedoms, when you take that oath, foreign and domestic, which what you've done this, um, it's foreign and domestics, and I put emphasis on that domestic part. So, I have a lot of experience with both, things that happened overseas and something that happened here in our own country. So, yes, it definitely hits me in my heart. Memorial Day is coming, and I know that there are so many families out there, and I hear you. I know you're there. Gold Star Family Foundation is being formed. Answering that question, yes, Gold Star Family is being formed. We already have goldstaradvocates.com. So if you're looking for help, you're looking for just your way, like how to get through the paperwork, the things that come when they knock at your door. Um, I'm fine with taking those calls. I can help, but I know other people that can too. So we don't want it to happen, but if it does happen, oh my goodness, I really wish that I had had someone that knew and that I could call, or I could say, they would tell me, Tracy, wait, think about this. And it was just, it's a horrible feeling when you feel like you're the only one in the world that's sitting there going, you know, casseroles, they all stop too. So it's like, where is everyone? And what do we do now? So Stephanie, everything that you're doing, thank you for that. And SWAT, your service too. I mean, you know, I believe that there's a reason for everything and a meaning for why we've met. And, you know, even with SWAT right there, who would have guessed? Like at all the bases, everywhere he could have gone, he was right where my son was. So I was like, wow, okay. Right. We have Army up in here. Stephanie,
He's
I
Army.
was good.
Yep.
Yeah, I was gonna say yes. So we're all clear over here on the HUA. SWAT can say that better than me because he's a veteran. I get teased. I think it's my country accent or whatever it is, SWAT. I don't. I'm sure you say it way better.
It's a little bit of both, but you know what? That's the one thing I will say, and we all have that connection, and there's a reason for all of that. And just listening to everything, all the points that you've made, I think what makes you such a standout candidate is that you are a mother, you are somebody who has connection with not just veterans but with active duty, through your son. You are somebody who's been in your community for over 30 years, connecting with Nevadans, and like you said, you're not a career politician, and your only horse in this race is that you want to do right by everybody in your state, but you're a patriot and you want to get in there and do what those positions were originally created for. And that's the one thing that I love about your platform, all the points that you've made. It definitely makes me feel more connected to all of y'all, and we wish you all the best, and I'm looking forward to telling everybody that I have a friend who's a senator. So, we're,
I love
so
it. Well,
you
I
have
can't
you have
wait
all
for
of my.
that. And I believe that once I get through this primary, I will defeat Jackie Rosen, the incumbent. And, we've got two female Democrat senators in our state that are a rubber stamp for the Biden regime and everything that he does. And to me, he is destroying our country from within. You talk about domestic enemies. My goodness, with what he was doing against Governor Abbott, what he was, doing for Texas, trying to protect his border and his people. And then here comes Biden and just undoing everything he's trying to do. It's so stunning and in our face what they're doing to us. I mean, they just might as well flip us the middle finger every single day with what they're doing. And it's just, and they're shredding our Constitution. That is unconstitutional. People forget they are supposed to be protecting our country, our borders. They are sovereign. And to me, they're guilty of treason, in my opinion. And I say it, and I've said it a million times. And people need to hear that. And I'm willing to say the tough stuff. I'm willing to talk about and confront the controversial stuff. We need people who are going to be fighters, leaders, who are not going to bow to the corruption. My gosh, the corruption in DC. It's disgusting. We have a two-tier justice system. We see what's happening in our judicial system with what they're doing against Trump. And this stuff has to stop. We cannot have a successful society when we have this way. And it is rules for thee, but not for me. And they just, break these laws. They do whatever they want to do, and they're not held to account. So, and I saw that one comment. I think Brent said something about holding the government accountable. And it is absolutely true. We need to audit the government instead of these IRS agents coming after us and auditing us. We need to audit the government. Where is all this wasteful spending going? Where is this money going? This is our money. It is we the people, not we the government. So it's up to us to stand up to these people, vote them out of office, take back our country, and get fighters in office like myself.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It makes me think of the Constitution. They still make the cards that you can carry around. For someone like me, I tend to forget. I don't forget my Constitution. I just forget, as it's going down. They still make the cards that they used to make that you can get laminated and, learn more about your Constitution. But if you understand and look at your Constitution, you would understand that you have a lot of rights. You actually have every right to put someone on notice that is a politician, actually. So there is a lot that you can do.
The government didn't give us our rights. God gave us our rights. And
Oh,
we
yeah,
need to
definitely.
remember that.
Amen.
Yes. Amen. And those that have defended it are people, our people. So I fully agree with every bit of that. I am more than happy to support you and anybody listening out there right now. Nevada, again, go to Phillips, the number 4, Nevada.com. Check out more about what Stephanie is doing. And as she mentioned earlier, primaries are coming. All sorts of things are coming for Nevada. So we mean ASAP. We would love for you to get out there and learn more about that. And so we wish you the best there, Stephanie. And of course, I'll stay in touch on that. And then maybe we will all celebrate in Nevada when you're all in.
Yep.
Can't wait for it.
Thank you
I
both
cannot
so much.
wait. Of course. I was just going to show a couple of pictures here. Memorial Day, going back to that, because I am getting calls for both sides, I guess you'd say. And wanting to know my opinion. My opinion is that of our individuals served so that we could have that freedom, right? We can have freedom of speech. We can have the freedom to do that day what you're going to do. So I am not going to get in the middle of there and tell you, don't go to a barbecue, don't do this. I am not going to do that. I won't do it. It goes against everything that they have served for. So whatever you're doing, that's fine. But if someone else isn't and they aren't comfortable, try not to pull them along and see that they don't need to do that. And one of those, so you've got, if you can see that there, that's in Iraq. Doing the number 2, every one of them for a 2-step. And then that was Iraq. And then coming home. A lot of people do not realize that when you come home, you are at the bottom of a plane. So every time I've traveled lately, I'm very anxious. This is what happens to us. We are leaned over, given a flag, and it all happens so fast that we don't even, and I'm sure others don't even realize, wait, back up a little bit, back up. Memorial Day right there. What we say is every day is Memorial Day. So it is. And son, I know you can hear me. This is my beliefs. I'm not pushing them on anyone else, but I know he's there. I know he's watching. And I am proud and I am grateful. And I am forever grateful and thankful and blessed to all those who do decide to show up, work together, and let's move forward. Even if I don't agree with you and you don't agree with me, I mean, come on now, we can do this, right? We can do this. This is not that hard. We may have to move on from certain things, but we can make things happen in a flash if we would just all get together and make that work. So I appreciate every bit of that, Stephanie. And again, phillipsfordnevada.com, the number 4. Um, we don't want to have to lose any more of our service members, our border agents, our officers, our patriots, our K9. And don't let me forget someone, any of the first responders, military, you name it. That is why we called this Patriots Inside the Wire. It was like, we're not just about that. We just happen to be, well, we were put in that world, literally. So we were put in that world by who served and what they were doing. So we appreciate that. We appreciate when we see these monuments in honor of Woody Williams, who's no longer with us, who's inspired that, and his family has taken it over. That's beautiful. The Gold Star Family Foundation is something that is coming. It's a 501c4. The reason it's a C4 is because everybody knows that Tracy does get involved in some politics. And it's only because I want my youngest son and my children, I want everyone to understand, why did he join the service? Or, what is this about? Yes, it has to be passed down generation to generation of, yeah, why did he do it? Well, there was a great one, a reason, and it was 9/11. 9/11 hit him at a certain age, and this happened. I can't tell you how many moms have said this. It's like, oh my goodness, that happened to mine too. It's like 9/11 hit. My kid looked at me and was like, I'm not kidding. We're on a football practice. You got to get there early too. So all over the radio, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And he's like, what? And I'm like, well, there's something happening in our country. And he's like, oh, it'll be okay. I plan on joining the military and I'm going to be the first one to drop down. And I'm like, son, finish school, please. And we'll discuss this later. But I am forever grateful. At this time, normally what we would do is have SWAT play a song for the guest that is here. He has a lot of them, Stephanie. But I will let the two of you, or let SWAT tell us. I know he's got a lot that he's.
SWAT, you pick your favorite.
Well, put me on the spot, why don't you?
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Hey, I'm used to it. Tracy does it to me all the time. But before
Now you got two of us.
Yeah. Before I play, I just want to say thank you to both of you, and thank you to both of your sons for the sacrifice they've done for this country. Tracy, of course, for Sergeant Two Step, and Stephanie, for everything your son is doing and is about to do. Let him know that we appreciate it, and that our prayers are with him, and that he has our full support. And whatever he needs, we're here for him.
Well, thank you, and thank you for your service.
Right. Yes.
Absolutely.
Always SWAT your service.
Absolutely. Well, it's going to take me a second to get all loaded up, Tracy. So
no, we will keep talking. So you load up. You load up. I guarantee I probably know the song. I will say this. So shout out to every one of you there in Tennessee. I am working on some things. It's called Patriot Fest, Stephanie. We would really love to throw it's like a throwback to, I wouldn't say the World's Fair, but I would say it's Patriot Fest. It's basically a concert, and then have a ride in with our motorcycle community, or Jeep, or just patriotic. Just think fully patriotic. And that is a big goal of mine, is to be able to have that concert, and then take the veterans, not just veterans, officers, first responders that are there as singers, and they've been trying to do things as well. I want that to happen. So That's what I'm trying to pull off. And I do believe that you might know someone who knows a lot of people in that industry. So we have to make sure that she knows. Boy, is it needed. So I hear you. The veterans I've been around with, Stop 22, you're all amazing. And keep going. And I will keep trying to make magic happen to get you on that stage. So yes, it was very nice in Nashville recently to go back to where my son was born and had gone to school. And it's always interesting too, like as an adult to go back. Good.
Absolutely. Well, uh, ladies, this one's for y'all, but this is probably one of my favorite patriotic songs. If y'all know the words, sing along. For everybody out there, happy Memorial Day coming up. We'll remember. If tomorrow all the things were gone I've worked for all my life, if I had to start again with just my children and my wife, well, I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause that flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave their right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave their right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave their right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
All right.
Wow.
So
Swat,
good. Thank
you
you.
got more chops than I thought. I have not heard you reach that tone yet. So that was great. Like
Thank
I
you.
was very
Thank
proud
y'all
of
so
you.
much.
That was
Awesome.
amazing. That
Love
was
it.
just awesome and beautiful. And you know what, SWAT? Thank you. Thank you for always being there. When you may not even know it, you make a difference, literally. Like showing up here once a week like this, I am being stingy right now by saying, yes, I get to once a week be around and be around someone that gets it, who knows it, and it makes me better, literally. So I do appreciate you. I appreciate you always being here and being okay with me putting you on the spot.
Anytime, and I appreciate you, ladies. And again, thank y'all for everything y'all do every day. And like you said, Memorial Day coming up, we all have people to remember, and we're all connected forever in my book. So thank y'all so much.
Well, thanks you
Thank
guys for having
you.
me. Thank you for
When
your
you
service.
last,
And thank you to all of our veterans
oh,
out there.
definitely. Yeah, yeah,
They're so
definitely.
appreciated.
Those that serve or have served in our military, and aside from that, but again, I have to say that, they tell me never say thank you to a veteran on Memorial Day. Memorial Day is for those that we've lost. Armed Forces is for Armed Forces Day, and then Veterans is for Veterans Day. So I get a lot of Gold Star families that want to make that clear. We are definitely clear on that one. Trust me, I know it. I live it. I see your messages and I understand what it is. I can't change what other people are doing, but I want to say to those that I know you're listening, it's okay, because that's why our kids signed up and that's what they fought for, is to be able to have that freedom. So you don't have to take it from me. You don't have to even agree, but I have to look at it that way and understand that we're honoring. And I don't honor just on Memorial Day. I'm sorry, it's Memorial Day 365 for me. So 365 days out of that, Memorial Day is every day in my book. So we're going to close you out with something that will have Sergeant Two Step's little brother in there as we close up, and then we'll say our goodbyes.
Thank you for watching another episode of Patriots Inside the Wire, hosted by Gold Star mom, Tracy Two Step. Help us broaden our reach. Like, subscribe, and share.
I love to hear that because he's always like, Sergeant, out of my brother, Two Step. And he got it because of cadence. I love the whole cadence thing, and he did too. So thank you all for being here with us with Patriots Inside the Wire. Again, we have our website as well, which is patriotsинsidethewire.com. We're here with Stephanie, who's running for the Senate seat in Nevada. That's Phillips4Nevada.com. Remember, that's the number 4, Phillips4Nevada.com. Reach out to us if we can do anything for you. If you'd like to be on the show, we do have a form that you can fill out. Stephanie, we wish you all the best. Please let us know if there's anything that we can do. Please thank your son and give him a great big hug from us. And you're welcome here anytime. I'm sure I'll be talking to you soon. And I can't wait. I just can't wait. So thank you for joining us on Patriots Inside the Wire. You're always welcome here. SWAT,
I appreciate it.
always, 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 always. You don't even know it, but you make a huge difference every single time that you show up here. Not just for me, but when other families can see, yes, they actually still want us around. So I know that's horrible to say, but it's the truth. It's like, well, they don't want to be around us in case we cry, or what if we, all that goes through. So wherever you're at, the only thing I've found that works for me, you don't have to do what I do, but I've watched it happen multiple times when I've connected. Even if it's a veteran just calls once a week, hey, how's it going? You doing okay? It's like their whole world is like, wow, okay, wait, I do have somewhere I can fit. So again, if you'd like to do that as well, you can reach out to us at patriotsinsidethewire.com. Right now, Miss Stephanie Phillips in Nevada, we need her to take that Senate seat. So go to Phillips4Nevada.com. Thank you for joining us, Stephanie. SWAT, it has been a pleasure. I loved that tone, that height that you went to. I did not know that was in you. I can't wait to get you the next time and put you on the spot and say, now that I know you can do that, here's another one for you. But
Well, it was just for
again,
you ladies. So
well,
That was awesome. Thank you.
it was really
you.
awesome. Like, no, like I call it chops, like, old school term, but I was like, wait, he's going, wait, he's going. So no, thank you. Thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you to everyone out there as we are approaching Memorial Day, yes. You can reach me, yes. I know your heart, but I'm hoping that you have people around you. If you don't, get in touch. But I know that Fort Hood. So if you're here in Texas, I do know Fort Hood has something going on. And there is what's the closest base to you, SWAT?
I'm
Is it
actually
the
in
Coast Guard?
I'm actually in Oklahoma right now, so it would probably be Fort Seal. But down there, I think there's several bases around, and there's several VMAs or all those places. So Veterans Affairs, and
Oh, yes,
there's
the
plenty of things to do.
VFWs.
So
Yeah, that
VFWs,
is a good
right?
recommendation. That's perfect, actually. So the biggest recommendation would be to go to your VFW. I already know I'm going to get it from one girl from saying that. I understand yours has been not a good experience, Heather, but we love you. But you're in Oklahoma, SWAT. I did not know that. So I'm so
I'll
used
fill
to you
you in
being
later.
as I'm so used to you being here. There's a lot to fill you in on as well. A lot of hellos, a lot of information from the guys at SOP 22, multiple that would love to talk with us about other things. So, Stephanie, believe it or not, SWAT, Stephanie and I will talk on the side here, and we know who can do concerts. So, yeah, literally. Yeah, you and the people who can actually help us pull it off. Um, I am I'm all for it. So even if it's like we're going to celebrate and Stephanie's one and we'll get some veterans up there to go play and sing and that's what it is. We have multiple veterans who were on tour for Stop 22 and um, a lot of things are changing in the digital world of music and I'm trying to get everybody to understand, like, go to, for instance, for John, I call him SWAT, johnswatband.com. Right. Got it. So when you look that up, you can find them all over. But when you go, you have to go like and subscribe. So if you went to his YouTube, Spotify, all of this, the way it works nowadays is you literally have to go in and click that, and then you got your playlist going. So be sure to support your artists that are out there. That is one way you can support our veterans and those of us that are out there every day. And music is medicinal for me, Stephanie. So that's where that comes in. But again, it's been a pleasure to have you. I hope that we've ended the night on a good note for you and that you have nothing but good things to come and we will be in touch. So for
Awesome.
everyone else out there, well, thank you. We had talked earlier, so I don't know if you can tell, but yeah, we had talked earlier. No, yes, we need to talk a little more. You have a few things, and I have a few things, so we'll talk. But the not the secret, but back channel SWAT. We have a mutual friend, Stephanie and I, and I don't know why I have not brought it up yet, but this friend actually could probably make just a phone call, literally, to make something like that happen. What the veterans are coming to me for. So it's interesting. The connections that keep coming, they are happening for a reason. So Stephanie, you just bring all good every day, all the time, and you literally just made me go, wait a minute. I know how to do what they're asking me to do. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to everyone else out there for Patriots Inside the Wire. Again, patriotsinsidethewire.com. Mr. John Swat there is your co-host. You have me with Sergeant Two Step. I'm his mother. And you have Miss Stephanie Phillips running for the U.S. Senate seat in Nevada. Please go vote for Stephanie. Thank you for being with us and good night.